Phase 5 of the MCU is over. It's finally over. Well, the films are. I think we've got a TV show left with Ironheart. But I say this because we've been so inconsistent, especially with the films. We've had films which are bad, like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, The Marvels, Captain America: Brave New World. We've had a pretty good one in Deadpool and Wolverine, and we've had a good one in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And don't even get me started on the TV shows. Barely watched any of them. I just couldn't care less, despite me being an MCU fan, so I get it, I'm fake out here, sue me. But I just hear so many mixed things about all of these. Secret Invasion, Loki Season 2, Echo, Agatha All Along, Daredevil Born Again. I mean, I have no clue if these animated shows as well, like What If Season 2 and Season 3, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man are canon, but they might be, so it's worth a mention. I will check out these TV shows. I just can't be bothered, man. I just can't be bothered. And because I've heard so many mixed things, I'm just sitting here like, oh, I don't know. I think we're in need of a new phase now, a new transition into the new era of the MCU. This will obviously be the new event in Doomsday, and we'll begin here with Thunderbolts at the end of Phase 5, going into the beginning of Phase 6 with Fantastic Four First Steps in July. Before we get into the review, if you haven't seen the film, I'm just going to quickly say I would recommend watching Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow, the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show, the Hawkeye show, and Captain America: Brave New World. I'm also aware that there's probably a bunch of recap videos out there on YouTube, so if you don't want to watch all that, and I get it right, there's some not great stuff in there. There's some good stuff in there, to be fair. I mean, if you haven't seen that stuff, I would, because some of the stuff there is very good. But if you don't, fair enough. I feel that. I get you. Watch a recap video on YouTube. And another quick note, again, if you haven't seen the film, there are 2 post-credit scenes, so make sure you stay to the very end of the film so you don't miss it, because, whoa, the second one's really good. It's really, really tasty. There's a lot to it. But to be honest, I'd be surprised if you didn't stay towards the end of an MCU film now. That's like the custom, but just in case you didn't know that there was more than one, there's more than one. Thunderbolts follows a group of anti-heroes who go on a mission to fight a figure who is stronger than all of the Avengers combined, but must embrace their own dark past and learn about themselves along the way. As the different projects which are important to the Thunderbolts came out, you got your Ant-Man and the Wasp, Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I did think that after watching all these villains in these films, there wouldn't really be a chance that I was going to see them again. Except for Yelena, I sort of had a feeling that we would see her again. So for there to be a film dedicated to these characters, it's really quite intriguing. I think Marvel are taking the gamble on these characters. You know, they've been left to sit on the shelves for a while, kind of forgotten, so it's good to see them back. Many of these characters really only had one MCU appearance before this in their respective shows or films. I think with the exception of Yelena, I think she was in Black Widow and Hawkeye, and Bucky shitloads. Obviously, he's in so many. I really like that they took the chance with these characters. You know, they all have a story to tell, and I always wanted to explore that, and I think that they did this really, really nicely. I think you could tell from the trailers that the main focus of this film was going to be the mindset of our anti-heroes and how they've been feeling after everything that's happened to them in the MCU, because they've all been through a lot of shit. You know, it's going to be on their mind. Thunderbolts' main focus is the mental health of our anti-heroes, which was explored in a really inventive way. I really liked it. It was so beautifully told, and it shows that to heal, to get through it all, it's better when you're not alone, and I'll lead more into that into the spoiler section of this video. It was treated so seriously, it was really heartfelt, especially the scenes between Yelena and Bob. You know, these were the stories that they wanted to focus on the most, and they had a great connection. The mental health focus was put at the forefront of the film over the action, which I think is a really ballsy thing to do in an MCU film, but it really worked out here. Thunderbolts was a roller coaster. It was very emotional and treated that stuff really seriously, as I've said, but they of course didn't forget about the action, in which, in MCU fashion, is great. Choreography in the fight scenes, great as always. The scenes are really enjoyable. That's one thing with Marvel films, even though it's not a great film, the action scenes are going to be quite enjoyable in practically every project that they do. They pick and choose when the comedy should be there, which is something the MCU will always go for. They want to keep it lighter, But I would say the Thunderbolts is one of the darker ones. It's not dark, don't worry, just a little bit more serious because of the subject matter. But a lot of the humour they went for was done through David Harbour's Alexei Shostakov, and this just wasn't for me. He yells a lot, he's adding stuff to conversations to add humour, and a lot of the time, just not that funny to me. I mean, if you like this sort of stuff, you've really enjoyed him in Black Widow, you're going to love him again. The people in my screening loved him, and I love that. It's just not that funny to me. When someone's humour is just being loud, I don't find that funny. That's just me, that's a personal thing. For a few of these moments that I did enjoy, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them, especially as the film gets on, they just get more annoying than anything. For me, Florence Pugh is the standout. Her character has so many different layers to her, and she did so well with all of it. When it comes to the fighting, to the father-daughter interactions, to the mental health discussions, to the comedic side, there's so much to do. She didn't fault once. She never does. I love her. Rest of the cast were good as well. They just weren't as much of a standout, but they also didn't feel like the lead characters or the lead actor Florence Pugh did. Yelena feels like the main character in this film. Lewis Pullman did great with this role as well. Great entry to the MCU, by the way. Really like this guy. I was also thinking that he looks a lot like Tom Holland. I don't know. This is something I thought in the cinema. I was sitting there and I saw him. I was like, is that Tom? No, that's not Tom Holland. But yeah, he has a role where his character suffers a lot with mental health issues, and I just thought he did really well with it. He was great as well. Always good to see Sebastian Stan as Bucky again, and the scene where he first joins them is honestly so fucking cool, man. It's so cool. Bucky and Seb are just so cool. Like, honestly. From here on in, I'm going to dive into the plot a little more, so if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, please check it out before you watch this bit. This is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen it and you like spoilers, then carry on, I guess. But I don't know why you'd want to spoil a film when you're going to watch it. That doesn't really make any sense to me. So skip to this time to get to the ending, skip all the spoilers, and get to what I give it, what the rating is. I mentioned a second ago that they explored the mental health in an inventive way, and this is of course through the use of Bob. When they're escaping the vault and Bob can see Yelena's past, he also does the same with John Walker. We are, along with Bob, learning more dark things about their past. I also said earlier that Yelena is the focus. She is the main character, so you learn more about her dark past as well in these sort of dreamlike sequences. We've seen these dreamlike sequences before, so when I say inventive, we have seen this before, especially in the MCU. Even last year in Deadpool and Wolverine, where Cassandra Nova is getting into Wolverine's mind, but they felt different here. The Thunderbolts members, taking lead from Yelena, choose to confront their past. Like, they knew they were going to visualize everything again. Well, John and Yelena do. I'm not sure if the others do, but those two do. They didn't even know that this was going to work, but they did it anyway. And this was not only to save the members of the public, but to also save Bob. Bob was clearly needing someone, something. He had a lot of self-worth, self-doubt issues, no confidence. He thought so low of himself that all he needed was someone with him who could just tell him he could do it and that he wasn't alone. It's just such a brilliant message that was really emotional for me, you know, when they all embrace and they all hug Bob. I cannot lie. I did shed a few tears. After Taskmaster was practically left out of all the trailers and didn't even get a chair in the Avengers Doomsday cast list, I think a lot of us expected that this film wasn't going to be bright for her. I just wasn't exactly too impressed that she died so soon. I like that they all met in the vault and they were each other's targets, but I thought that the four of them would like figure things out and escape the vault, and then she'd die later on fighting, you know? I didn't think one of them would actually kill her or kill the other one off, you know? The thing is I have with this, though, is that I wouldn't have been that happy if Sentry or Void had killed her either, because the story that we got, that wouldn't have really been in his nature. So I don't exactly know who would have killed her. Maybe it was Val or Val's team, or maybe the government or something, but what I'm trying to say is that I didn't want her gone in the first 20 minutes. It felt a little cheap. So now we also know what the asterisk means. Now, come the end of the film, they're no longer the Thunderbolts. They are the new Avengers. I did have some sort of feeling that they would do this. We needed an Avengers team, and There's barely any of them left from the original Avengers, so this does make sense. It just feels like a big play. I mean, in Doomsday, whatever's left of the actual Avengers team will be the Avengers, and they'll fight alongside the new Avengers, so this isn't like huge. But currently in the MCU, there is no Avengers team right now. It's only them. This is why it feels like a big play, and it's really interesting that Bucky is a new Avenger, not an actual Avenger. And the end credit scene mentions there's friction between him and Sam Wilson. So that's really, really interesting. Hey, end credit scene time. First one's practically pointless, little throwaway. They always tend to do that, so I'm going to throw that away and not speak about that one. Didn't find it funny. Anyway, the second one, though, wow. It's a juicy one. It's a juicy boy. I think it said 14 months later, where Sam Wilson is copywriting the Avengers name to stop the new Avengers from using this in their name. And the public perception of them really isn't good. They don't accept them as the new team. They don't trust this team. They're still anti-heroes or villains, and the Thunderbolts, the new Avengers, are trying to live with this. And I guess they're trying to prove them wrong, or prove the public wrong. They then receive a distress signal from a spacecraft entering the Earth's atmosphere with a big old four slapped on there. The Fantastic Four themselves, I'm guessing. This was a great scene. It makes me think that if Fantastic Four is set at the same time as Thunderbolts, is it the Fantastic Four on their ships? Now, I know Fantastic Four is set in what, like 65? And in Thunderbolts, 2027, 14 months later, I guess it's end credit scene's like 2028 now. So there's a lot of years difference, but is 1965 in that universe the same time as 2028 in our universe? Does that make sense? I don't know. It could be. It makes me think that this is a possibility. We know that they're coming. The Fantastic Four are coming. That's what this proves. They will fight alongside our Earth 616 heroes. But how did they get there? Is that really them as well? I have a feeling that at the end of Fantastic Four, this is just one of my theories, that they are obviously going to leave their world. It's going to erupt and Galactus will get it. It'll kill off everyone on the world. But I don't know if the Fantastic Four are going to leave. It could just be Franklin Richards, because he's an Omega level mutant. He is one of the most powerful beings in all of Marvel. So I reckon as a baby, he could sense all this danger and send them all away to this universe. So it's not the Fantastic Four that have chose to leave. They would go down with their own universe, with their own world. I reckon it's baby Franklin who has sent this ship over so they could be with our Earth 616 heroes and fight alongside them. I'm so ready for Doomsday. I'm so ready for Fantastic Four. I cannot wait. I watched a trailer earlier on today for Fantastic Four. I'm so hyped. End of July, like, it's just the beginning of May now. Why did I watch it on my watch as it was the beginning of May? It's the beginning of May, about 3 months. I'm so excited for this shit. You guys don't even know. Thunderbolts is for sure one of the good ones of this phase, and the whole franchise in general. It was such a roller coaster. I had a lot of feelings during this one, and I'm very glad that I was able to watch this one as early as I could. Big up Disney for releasing this a day early in the UK compared to our friends across the pond. I am desperate to see this again, and not because someone was on their phone the whole time. I mean, like, seriously, who goes to watch an MCU film on release day at 10 a.m. on a Thursday and is on the phone the whole film? Like, are you fucking for real? It didn't distract me too much though. I was able to like angle myself. I think I was sitting like this because some other guy's popcorn was like blocking it, so I was able to hide the phone screen and not pay attention to that, so it didn't distract me really at all. I did in the first 10 minutes, and that was really, really, really annoying, but I managed to sort that out. But I want to feel these emotions again. That's why I want to see it again. It's rare for me to think this with an MCU film, but I do. So Thunderbolts, I'm going to rate 4 stars. It's honestly so fucking close to a 4.5. It's unreal. Like, if I watch this again, do not be surprised if I bump the ratings up to a 4.5, because I was leaving going, oh, this could be 4.5, you know. This could be 4.5. If you have seen Thunderbolts, please let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? If you enjoyed the view, please like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And make sure to follow me on all the socials. And I'll see you in the next.